It's another edition of Time About the Movies, and today we're taking a look at the films of April 13th, 2001. We got 4 movies to look at today. We have a lot to get to, so let's not waste any more time. Let's jump on into it, and we'll start off with the biggest new release of the weekend, and that is Renee Zellweger, Hugh Grant, and Colin Firth in Bridget Jones's Diary.
Jones is the toast of America. To Bridget, just as she is. It's the #1 movie in the country, and the critics agree. It's tremendously funny.
It's not a chick movie, guys. There's all sorts of things you'll like. There's nudity, bad language, and violence.
Bridget rules.
She gives us a look into intimate moments that all women share.
I like big pants on a gun.
2 thumbs up. The best and smartest film of its kind in a long time. Bridget Jones's Diary. Rated R.
So this is based off of the book of the same name by Helen Fielding, who also co-wrote the script for this, and it's also kind of a reimagining of a modern reimagining of Pride and Prejudice, where you have Renee Zellweger as Bridget Jones, a 32-year-old British single woman who writes a diary who focuses on the things she wishes to happen in her life. However, her life changes when 2 men vie for her affection, portrayed by Colin Firth and Hugh Grant. And power of Richard Curtis, man. We've talked about his works before on various things, and here's another winner for him. Bridget Jones's Diary is one of those movies that, it's a chick flick, but it's the kind of chick flick that appeals not just to women, but everybody involved can get something out of it. Renee Zellweger is great as Bridget Jones. She has this great charisma to her. She's very likable. Great acting from Renee Zellweger. Hugh Grant and Colin Firth have this great rivalry between the two of them in this movie and the sequels. But, I mean, it's very fun to watch. And you can tell that everybody's having a ton of fun while making this movie. This is a film that really encourages a lot of really good funny moments, good chemistry between all 3 leads. Like, this love triangle works really well. You can really believe the relationships between both Zellweger and Firth, and also Zellweger and Grant. I think that's something that you really need for this love triangle to actually work as well as it does, compared to other movies that try to do similar things to this. And I also thought it was just funny. It's a really funny film. It showcases what Zellweger's able to do as an actress overall, and it would eventually lead to her getting an Academy Award a couple years after this with Cold Mountain. But, yeah, this is a terrific, terrific film. One that I really don't think I need to say too much more of. It's definitely the best of the 3 films. The sequels aren't as good, but this one's still really a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Definitely check this one out if you haven't seen it. Bridget Jones's Diary. So, with that said, move on to our next movie, and that is David Spade as Joe Dirt.
This spring, America will finally have someone to look up to.
Who do you know? What's the story here? I'm a white trash idiot.
What? I'm a rocker through and through. Here's my favorite bands. AC/DC, Van Halen, not Van Hagar, Skinner.
His name is Joe Dirt.
Oh, Dirt, did I get you? No, I'm cool. No, you're not.
He gets no respect.
Don't forget to wipe your dirt. Boys got something to say to me? Why don't you talk into the microphone? I got a backup mic right here. Check 1, 2. Testing, testing. Ah!
His job isn't glamorous.
You know what? I don't mind being hit with a few hot dogs. So enough with the hot dogs. Guess I'm lucky it wasn't hot chili day today.
And even as a child, his family ditched him.
Dad, Mom, where are you?
Now, to turn his life around,
I'm looking for my parents. I lost them at the Grand Canyon when I was 8. They ditched you, Joey.
Joe's traveling across our country, digging through the trash.
I got a picture of my parents.
Oh, I don't recognize them. And searching for his roots.
I can see down your shirt. No!
From the producing team that brought you Deuce Bigelow
Things gonna happen for me. I'm Joe Dirt!
and Big Daddy comes the tale of a drifter.
It ain't a meteor. Yeah, it is. It came out of the sky.
This is a big old frozen chunk of toilet waste. You see the peanut?
That's space peanut.
The story of a rebel
What is this thing?
Maybe we should take it over to that place, Los Alamos.
Yeah, Nat, that's definitely what we should do. But first, we'll shoot fireballs at it. Oh, man, we're gonna get so busted.
and the saga of a legend.
I'm in the crock biz, okay? Don't try this at home. This crock, no, not to mess with Sir Joseph Dirt. You didn't listen to me.
The Adventures of Joe Dirt.
Oh, when bad bets go bad, dang.
Such a
So as you can tell, the plot revolves around David Spade as this white trash young man who at first seems to be a loser, a failure, and an anti-hero. As he travels in search of his parents, his finer qualities are increasingly revealed. He ends up with a new family of close friends, people who have helped him and respected him, and you have various people in this movie. Dennis Miller, you see there, Christopher Walken, Kid Rock has a role in this movie, and this is one of those movies that is easily a movie that you can instantly look at and see is something absolutely stupid. It's one of the most ridiculously over-the-top movies ever. But, with that said, I remember laughing at this a lot when I was little. I remember going to see this movie as a kid. And, like I said with Little Nicky, it's one of those movies where, if you saw it back in the day like I did, I was 12 years old when this came out. And as a 12-year-old kid, I laughed a lot. I know it's a stupid movie. It's not the best written film. It has a lot of those things that would be seen later on in the really bad Happy Madison movies, but this was still one of these movies were still kind of fun to watch all the way through, and I thought David Spade did a pretty good job in this, despite the fact that after Chris Farley died, when he tried to go on his own, it didn't always work out as well as it could have. Like, I know he was good on Just Shoot Me, but in terms of like the movies he made after Farley died, it just really didn't live up to. It just really shows how much Chris Farley really carried the load when they did Tommy Boy and Black Sheep. But here I thought David Spade kind of made it work. I thought it was an overall really funny film. It knows exactly what it's trying to accomplish, and for the most part, it does very much succeed in that. I thought the movie as a whole worked in general. Like I said, not the best written movie, not a smart film by any means. This is the type of movie where you turn your brain off and you go in there and you have a good time with it. And it's a really funny movie. It's a funny film that's really stupid, knows exactly what it's trying to accomplish, and it succeeds in that. I mean, I might be the only person that says that, but at least in this first movie, I thought Joe Dirt actually worked okay. Joe Dirt 2, however, no, that's a completely different story altogether. And we might get to that one in 2015, considering that didn't premiere in theaters. It was only a film that was released straight to Crackle, which should pretty much tell you everything you need to know about that one. But this one, I don't know, I thought it was alright. I thought it was fine for what it was, but that's just me. So let's go ahead and take a look at our next movie, and that is Kingdom Come.
And you be feeling just fine about however you feel about your daddy.
And the bonds that make us family.
We're gonna get through this together.
When I die, don't tell nobody. Just bury me out in the backyard and tell everybody I left you.
Kingdom Come.
Are my kids driving you crazy?
Oh, no, honey, we locked them outside.
So the storyline of this movie is a mean and surly guy keels over at breakfast, his family gathers for the wake and funeral, and a long-suffering widow, a daughter who consistently eats, unemployed son who's cheating on his wife, another son who's holding a job and a loving wife, but struggles with alcoholism and their difficulty with starting a family. You have a religious aunt, her wayward son, their wealthy cousin. They all descend on this town struggling to say something nice about Bud and face the challenges of sorting out the relationships with the living. This is one of those movies that's kind of like Soul Food in a way, like a movie like Soul Food, or even a little bit of a Waiting to Exhale, except I feel like this is one where it's just kind of like, it's based off of a play called Dearly Departed. You see a really good cast involved in this movie. Ella Cool J, Jada Pinkett Smith, Vivica A. Fox, Anthony Anderson, Tony Braxton, Whoopi Goldberg, Loretta Devine, Darius McCrary. A good cast overall in this movie. This is one that I've never really seen in full. I've only seen like little bits and pieces here and there. So I can't really say for certain if this is a good movie or not. I don't really see a lot of reviews, at least from what I'm looking at here on the Wikipedia page. Not that Rotten Tomatoes will really help out here, but it doesn't have a good Rotten Tomatoes rating. But then again, audience score is high for it, 72%, which probably means that this film definitely has more of a following than is to believe. And it was a hit when it came out. It made 3 times its budget back then, but the little bits and pieces that I saw of this movie, I thought were overall pretty good. I thought everybody, from the stuff I saw, worked okay, but there was nothing there that I only saw, like I said, little bits and pieces there, nothing enough to really say, to give like a full review of this. This is what I've been wanting to get back and see at some point down the road, but I just never had the time to really go ahead and do that. But I never hear anybody really ever talk about this great movie. It's the most I see from it is people just going like, "That's all right, nothing too spectacular." But so I don't know. I really don't know how good this movie could actually be. I mean, like I said, I've only seen little bits and pieces of it, but from the stuff I saw, it definitely looked like it had some promise to it. So maybe this is one I'll definitely check out sometime down the road. But as far as the stuff I've seen, has some promise to it. But that's pretty much all I can give you on that one. So let's go ahead and take a look at our last movie, and that is the live-action version of Josie and the Pussycats.
Weekly raves, Josie rocks. It's the sexiest, sassiest, most stylish movie of the year. Fun, fun, fun. It's perfect.
We will always be friends first.
Irresistible, hilarious. It's Charlie's Angels meets Austin Powers.
I knew there was a reason you were so popular.
A sexy, cool comedy. You'll have the time of your life. Josie and the Pussycats, rated PG-13. Now playing at theaters everywhere.
Which at the time of its release was considered to be one of the biggest bombs of in box office history, but the film wasn't a flop everywhere else. I mean, critically it did okay. It got mixed reviews for the most part. The soundtrack was a massive hit, charting as high as 16 and actually receiving gold status, and the film has since grown to have this cult following in the years since its release. This is directed by the same team that gave us Can't Hardly Wait, and pretty much follows the same story as the cartoon of the same name from Hanna-Barbera, as well as the Audrey comic series. You have this girl group, played by Rachel Lee Cook, Tara Reid, and Rosario Dawson. They're basically sent into they're basically realizing that their CEO is hiring them to put subliminal messages into their pop music to basically have their teenagers buy their stuff, and that's probably one of the things that makes this movie unique and stand out on its own compared to... I think it was just released a little too ahead of its time, because you could tell that this movie was trying to say a lot of stuff. This is a film that, because it's the satirical elements that take on American pop culture, it's a film that really, I think maybe was released a little bit too ahead of its time. Maybe a couple of years down the road, if it had released somewhere a couple of years down the road, maybe it could have found some success. But then again, you could still watch Josie and the Pussycats on Cartoon Network at this time. So, I don't know. It's tough to say. Maybe this was a little bit too ahead of its time, but then again, probably released at the right time, because I think if you release this later on down the road, I think people wouldn't have any idea who Josie and the Pussycats were. And considering Hanna-Barbera's other live-action attempts, the Flintstones, the last Flintstone movie was not a big success, the Smurfs movies, this is probably Scooby-Doo. This is probably high up there with one of their best ones. I mean, probably next to the Flintstones. I mean, I still have a soft spot for the Flintstones, the 94 Flintstones movie, not the 2000 sequel, but this actually did a pretty good job of handling this source material pretty well. You do like the camaraderie between, Rachel Lee Cook, Rosario Dawson, and Tara Reid. You really do like their friendship. You do believe that these are good friends that want to entertain people. The cast overall is top-notch in this movie. Not only do you have them, but you have people like Paulo Costanzo, Missy Pyle, Alan Cumming as the head of the company. Fiona Parker Posey is very good in this movie. Yep, Donald Faison stuff. A lot of the guys from Robot Chicken are involved in this movie. Eugene Levy is in this film. Carson Daly, Britney Spears, Matt Damon, anybody you could think of. And it knows exactly what it's trying to do. It's a ton of fun to watch, and it really does have a lot about it that really does hold up well over time, considering that this movie was not the big hit when it came out. I just think it was a movie that really came out too soon. Like, I feel like if this movie had waited just a couple of years, I think maybe they could have had something that could have been a big hit. But you know what? In the years since it's come out, it has had that massive cult following that. It's not even a massive cult following, but it has grown a cult following in the years since its release. And I think people are coming around to it more and more, which is good to see, because it's one of those ones that I really did not expect to like a lot the first time I saw it. But when I watched it again as of late, I was really surprised at how blown away I was by it. It's a really solid film, and one that definitely should be seeked out. Definitely check this one out, Josie and the Pussycats. So with that said, we wrap up another episode of Time About the Movies. Next time we meet, we'll have 2 movies, including Crocodile Dundee in Los Angeles, because, 13 years is more than long enough to release a Crocodile Dundee sequel that nobody really cares about, but we'll delve into that one, as well as the infamous Freddy Got Fingered starring Tom Green. And boy, is it infamous. We'll We'll talk about both of these movies on the next episode. But until then, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to see more videos like this, please hit the playlist on the next page, check out the previous episode, and also don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you want to see more videos like this on this channel. So with that said, I'm off. I will see you guys next time, and until then, as always, take care.